Alrighty guys, it's Drax back with another Ark Survival Ascended guide, and in this one we're going to be looking at all the ways you can get polymer and what's best for the island map. Polymer, normally a composite of cementing paste and obsidian, is used for a load of stuff in Ark, including a load of major constructions, and later on, quite importantly, tech gear and high level blueprints. Simply put, you're going to end up needing a load of this. Now the main way is simply going to be making the composite of cementing paste and obsidian. Cementing paste for beaver dams, processing chitin or keratin with stone, or heading to the swamp cave with an imprinted frog and a good saddle to consume those meganuras. Also, you could do what I recommend and get some acatinas, the snails which make their own kind of paste passively that works in the same way. Then with the paste side of things covered, it would just be the case of going out collecting the heavy obsidian with something like an Argentavis leveled in weight. That also has the 50% weight reduction, and you'll be hitting all the nodes on the mountains etc. with a good pick. All this can work for a while, but there is of course an easier way to craft things as long as you have enough inventory slots in your crafting station. And that is with organic polymer. So that's what we're going to be talking about mainly in this one today. And there are two ways to get this substance on the island map. The first is the slower passive way from those acatinas. This is a byproduct, you might call it, a side hustle, whilst they are normally making that paste. It's not very fast, but every so often you can check in their inventories and they might just have enough inside to craft something like scuba gear. They probably won't work for any of the major crafts though, unless you have a load of them, or combine them with other ways which we'll go on to talk about. So the second way is going to be the better option, and that is to kill and harvest Kairuku, or more easily said, penguins. What do we want? The creature that gets the most organic polymer per penguin harvested. What is it? What should you use? There are three options here. And one isn't a creature at all, it's a club. And the other two are the Pelagornis and the Mosh Chops. With the stone club, you're going to need a good one to really see a nice amount of organic polymer. If you happen to get one from drops or loot crates, possibly a blueprint to make an ascendant one, then this tool is really good at harvesting the adult penguins after killing them. Whereas with the Pelagornis, the large seagull looking creature, this excels at harvesting the baby penguins. It doesn't get much from the adults, but it gets a load more from the babies. And then we have the Mosh Chops. Well, this little guy has a special function where you can specifically level extra points into harvesting organic polymer, among other things. You'll see the option on the settings wheel. A highly leveled melee imprinted Mosh Chops with all of its harvesting levels in organic polymer will yield a good amount. The only thing I found currently on Ark Ascended is that the Mosh Chops doesn't harvest correctly until you jump off and back on again. Seems like he needs a bit of tech support to get him working. I can't remember this being an issue on the old game for me, but that was when I was using him to harvest mantis, so maybe he can harvest those fine whilst riding, but not the penguins. Other than that, you can just kill the penguins with whatever you flew the Mosh Chops over with, making sure that the resource harvesting is enabled on the wheel, and the little guy should automatically harvest the penguin corpses nearby him. He does have this habit, however, of running off when dead animals are nearby though, so you might need to whistle him on and off follow to keep him harvesting correctly, keep him on the right path. But I would say, with that manual harvesting issue when riding, I currently wouldn't take the Mosh Chops if I was going out to harvest organic polymer. I would take an imprinted Pelagornis, as simply put, it is quicker. The Pelagornis has terrible weight normally, so maybe bring a weight RG with you to fill up with the poly. I would even recommend flying the RG, as the Pelagornis isn't built for travels. Fly the RG over with the Pelagornis following. We even flew the Pelagornis over on the back of a Quet's platform saddle to save time, and then you have the extra weight to load up as well. Then you can just kill with the Pelagornis and it auto harvests upon kill to get the poly. If you want to net a bit more whilst out and about, then it would be manually killing with a pike and then harvesting just the adults with a decent club. Leave all the babies to the Pelagornis. Going one step further, if you want a fully autonomous organic poly farm, then you're going to need to breed the Pingus. And just a note here, your server or single player must have PvP enabled for this to work. You then set up a box, or a chamber of death as I like to call it, with possibly a few air conditioners nearby. My base seems to hatch them out just fine without the need from AC, but you will need some in different areas. Then you hatch them out, don't claim them, just let them die, and leave a creature nearby to harvest them. The moss chops will do this perfectly when set on neutral. Might also need to be on wandering, depending on the chamber size, and make sure the resource harvesting is on once again on that wheel. After time and with enough penguins breeding, it will get you some good amounts. The Polygornis you think would net you more, and I heard of people using them, but it didn't seem to work that well when I ran my tests. You also need to set this creature on aggressive so it actually kills the babies and harvests them at the same time. So personally, the moss chop seems like the better option for autonomous organic polymer, with the penguins breeding as he won't trigger anything else around him and won't be flying around like a madman. The moss chops and the Kairukus also don't need fish meat to stay alive, so you won't forget to feed them, as I often do with these fish eaters. You could leave the penguins to grow up and then harvest them with the moss chops to get more poly. When testing, that seemed to be the case, but with that method you will of course take the autonomous nature away. So with that info, you should be able to set up some systems for farming polymer, whether it be composite or organic, maybe a combination of the two, and then you'll be able to get crafting those bigger stations, tech gear and blueprints. To sum up my thoughts, moss chops for autonomous setups on PvP servers, including single player saves, combined with Acatinas, and you'll have multiple sources of autonomous organic polymer, along with that Acatina paste of course. And the Polygornis is going to be the best for you guys who are actively organic poly farming and want to get a load as soon as possible. Maybe even take a good stone club if you want to get more poly from the adult penguins. As always guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, found it useful in some way. Please like if you did, comment below with your polymer farm tips, maybe there was something I missed, and subscribe for more like this one. I'll see you next time.